my name's Hillary Murdoch. I'm the director of product marketing here. And I also have Phil Bredesen, who's going to be helping me out, taking you guys through a product demo towards the end of the hour that we have here together. So really looking forward to it. Our agenda. We're going to do just a short introduction to Threekit, who we are. We then want to take you through kind of a potential use case that shows how customers on the other end, kind of out in the wild, might experience the visuals that Threekit can generate, as well as showing how the intelligence and data that comes from those visuals will impact your ability to make decisions and act. Which is one of what we think is one of the real advantages of what we do. And then finally, like I mentioned, Phil will take us all through a platform demo. So hi, we're Threekit. We're a product visualization software that creates photorealistic images, interactive 3D and augmented reality experiences. And we do it all in the name of helping businesses sell more, because more interactive experiences with consumers get them more involved in the product and help them work their way down the path to purchase. And the truth is, one of the reasons we do what we do is because today's customers have higher expectations for visual product experience than ever before. And this is aided largely by, our busy online lives and this constant barrage of imagery that we encounter every day through digital channels and social media. People's expectations for e-commerce and the visual experience they have through e-commerce have gone up. So Threekit generates the volume and variety of product visuals necessary to actually meet those expectations. And this is just a short kind of 30,000 foot view of how the platform actually works. So you can keep this in mind as we go through. For hard goods, the input that we usually require from the user is some kind of product catalog, which usually is already in existence. So it can be in the form of a PIM. You may have it in a spreadsheet, JSON, one of these formats that we literally just load up into the system, at which point a 3D artist on the Threekit side assesses and refines the visual inputs. Visual inputs also come in different formats. So it could be a 3D asset that you already have in existence. Many companies, brands do not. So CAD files also work. And also, if CAD file isn't available, even product images. We can start from there and use that to create a 3D model with all the components and options and materials of that particular product. And this 3D model is kind of where all the power is, because you only need one to create infinite types of visuals and customizations and configurations within the Threekit platform. So that model is really key. And with that model, you can go on into this create and export stage where you have what would typically be a shot list maybe of products that you need to get in a photo shoot. This is where you create all those different looks, angles, configurations that you want to actually feature. And you can do this in 3D, configurable 3D, interactive, photorealistic 2D images that are virtually indistinguishable from something that you would get in a product photo shoot, say. And from the 3D model, we can also create augmented reality experiences that allow people to actually put products in their space to make sure they're just right. So you create all those visuals, and then Threekit also aids in the distribution. So these things probably need to live on a website, e-com platform that you're partnering with or using, social media, CRM, any one of a number of digital channels that we can deploy these visuals to. And then finally, and almost most importantly, there is a way to interact and learn from what these visuals are actually doing from you. So how they're performing on the platforms that they're on, which allows you to get a look at what they're doing in real time, and then inform future decisions. So if a particular configuration or product SKU is doing really well for you, you can see that across all the channels where you've deployed it, and then optimize your visual experience. So kind of going back to that creating, exporting stage to create more of what works and maybe less of what doesn't. And that's part of the power of the platform. So we wanted to bring to life kind of a real world example of how this may work. And what I'm about to share is how an engagement with Threekit can start in a particular place, such as, say, marketing, but then positively impact other areas of the business as well as other areas of the consumer journey beyond what that original engagement is. And we are using a kind of a hypothetical client today to take you through this experience. So the brand is a brand we'll call Custom Suits. Not shockingly, they are a men's suit franchise that does custom suits online. And their brand director, we'll call her Gina, wants to create a better website experience by letting people create their own custom suit in real time. So perhaps in the past, people have entered their measurements and said what kind of fabric they want, but they can't actually see the suit come to life in real time. And that's the kind of experience that she wants to create for them, so they can interact and make sure that everything is to their specifications, see it come to life in real time. So this is how a lot of engagements start, because typically when you're doing a website redesign or a website upgrade, that's where you're really thinking about product visuals, right? Like getting all the angles that you need, getting all the different product aspects that you need up online. But we also want to look at what this looks like from the end user perspective. And the end user in this case is a guy we'll call Joe, who is just someone who might be thinking about buying a suit. And this is what Joe's overall customer journey looks like. There's typically kind of a catalyst period, maybe he has an event coming up where he's thinking about getting a suit. So he needs to kind of be in that learning phase where he's figuring out what he wants. He moves on to consideration, where he's exploring all his options. Finally, he takes the plunge and converts and buys the suit. And then afterwards, there's typically some kind of follow-up conversation that takes place where he's telling his friends about the suit or talking about the experience that he had. So if you think about Gina's original ask, she wanted to create a custom website experience. But as you see, the interaction that takes place on a website is kind of deeper into the journey when he's already kind of decided that he's going to buy a suit. But with smart, agile assets that we can create in Threekit, we can actually start impacting his journey much sooner. So with the same 3D models and assets that we use to build that website experience, we can create imagery to use for online display placements that will help custom suits get into that consideration set. So you create the 3D model and create an asset that features this particular suit and puts it in a custom ad. Maybe it piques Joe's interest, but he's not quite ready to take the plunge. So we can take that same suit and serve him up a different ad, maybe in an Instagram post. Maybe it was the fabric that he wasn't interested in. And so this time Joe takes a look and says, you know what? I really like that fabric. I like that style. Maybe I will look at this custom suits place. So then he moves on into the consideration stage. And this is where that original custom website idea that Gina had comes into play. So he goes to the website, he can start playing around with fabrics, with styles, with cuts, and start to create his own suit. So again, this is using all the same assets that we created originally in the Threekit platform. Perhaps he's not quite ready to take the plunge. He started the experience, but as he's still considering, he might come across a print ad. And this, using those, again, using the same assets that we created for online, we can create offline assets as well. So we are reinforcing the brand as he's going on in his journey. And he decides finally, yeah, you know, I'm going to think further into the process of buying the suit. He receives a personalized, retargeted ad featuring the same suit that he had started making on the website. We serve up for him, maybe in a Facebook ad. So as he goes along in the journey, because of the data we're collecting, because the interactions that he's having with our visuals, we're able to offer him a more personalized experience that gets him kind of deeper into the brand as he goes. When he receives this ad, he decides that he is going to go in store to complete the purchase. So once he arrives, he deals with a sales associate who already has all of Joe's customizations that he started saved into the system. He can pull that up on an iPad and they can kind of finish the process together. So it really creates a seamless experience where we've kind of been following him throughout and can serve up visuals that are relevant specifically to him. So he goes ahead, he makes that purchase, and then we can continue the journey even after the purchase. So if you think about receiving an emailed receipt that actually shows the suit that he purchased right there on the receipt, it offers the ability to maybe even share his new look online. So he helps to kind of proselytize the brand and the experience that he has. So again, through this one 3D model, we are able to offer not just a website experience that is customized, but also experience throughout the entire journey that feels customized, that gets smarter and smarter as Joe goes through, follows him all the way through the purchase, and potentially, keeps him a loyal customer beyond that. What personalization along the customer journey does is it drives conversion. So 80% of customers are more likely to purchase products from a brand that provide a personalized experience. It can drive that incremental revenue. So 40% of customers say they've purchased additional products or something more expensive than they planned because the experience was personalized. And finally, loyalty. Anytime you are consistently delivering personalization, you are driving a feeling of more intimacy with the customer. It keeps them coming back for more. You start to create kind of a relationship. So we're pleased to provide customers experiences that sell more, but let's also look at how perhaps smart assets can help to bolster and impact Gina, who we started with here as the marketing director. Let's look at how using assets from Threekit, these smart agile assets, actually impacts the business that she does. So again, we're looking at what she originally asked for. She wanted to bring a more customized website experience to life, but by executing that vision on a platform like Threekit, she's actually going to get more out of the investment because she's going to be able to use those assets across the entire customer journey and be able to positively impact not just the shopper's experience, but other stakeholders and departments within her own organization. And much of this is due to this layer of data capture that we have outlined here in pink. She's getting that all the way through the funnel. So let me just show you a few ways that getting that data capture through these smart assets can actually manifest. So first, think about it from a product demand testing standpoint. Again, because you're creating 3D images from a digital model and not having to actually do, say, a traditional photo shoot, you can use it for product demand testing. In our example with Joe, he didn't react to the first suit color that he saw, right? But he did react to the second one, even though it was the same style. So when you look at cumulative data like that, it starts to add up to best performing SKUs and versions of products, which helps you to optimize your advertising. So not only does it allow you to optimize advertising, real power can come in when you can actually test things ahead of time without even creating them. So think about fabrics, styles, colors, things that you're thinking about producing but haven't produced yet you really want to know if it's worth it. So with smart assets, you can actually test that kind of thing in advance. You can kind of deploy what the thing that you're testing, say it is a color, onto an existing 3D asset, put it out into the world, see if customers react. That has impact on marketing for sure, but also it positively impacts research and development, innovation, production. If you're producing more of what is sure to sell, certainly it can create efficiencies. So product demand testing is just one way this data can impact Gina's business. But also think about from kind of a creative testing standpoint. So leveraging these consumer insights, smart assets can kind of help you make big bets. We know how much it costs to do, say, an out-of-home campaign or TV advertising or just other big campaigns. To help you make a decision on what you should feature in those campaigns, it helps to have information on what people are actually engaging with in store, say the most popular styles and colors. So with, for example, the in-store experience that we shared before in Joe's journey, we can create the visuals that we create. You have access to that data, and by seeing what people are interacting with and what's selling best, that's probably something you should think about making a big bet on. And maybe you feature that in a print ad, television, etc. So it just gives you more information on what's really resonating with customers and allows you to elevate those SKUs and elevate that content so it works harder for you. Again, this has impact for marketing, sure, but also sales, retail, in-store, finance, across the board. It has a lot of impact. And then finally, think about it, what it could offer from a personalized CRM campaign standpoint. So we have information on everything that Joe interacted with. We know what suit he bought. What that means that in the future, we can have suggestions for things that went with that suit. We kind of understand his style and what he's looking for. So not only did we provide him a personalized experience along the entire path to purchase, we can continue to provide him with personalized campaigns, personalized communications past his purchase, and keep him coming back for more. Keep kind of upselling him on things that we know will resonate with him. Again, this impacts not just marketing, but your CRM, technology, finance, different departments within perhaps your organization that can get great value out of this platform besides just what it may look like on the surface. So when it comes to data-driven strategy, it drives business results. So 88% of marketers say personalization through data has helped them realize measurable lift in business. It drives competitive advantage, which just makes sense. If you're providing a more personalized experience and you have more data on your consumers, you're likely to do better than those you're competing against. And also, and maybe most importantly, organizational efficiencies. We want Threekit to be a tool that is, of course, used by those on the front lines of marketing, but also across the entire organization to make everyone smarter, to give everyone data that helps them do their jobs better. So we think of it as an organizational transformation tool. So looking at it cumulatively, we provide consumers with a more custom experience. We provide business impact, and this is just one example of the many ways that smart assets can positively impact the business of selling. But there are countless other scenarios, both on the consumer and the B2B side, and we love to work with folks to figure out the best way for visuals to place a role in their business. We love to have conversations about innovative ways that we can help impact your business and the organization as a whole. So this gives kind of that outcome view, what Threekit brings to the table for consumers. With that, we wanted to give you a peek at the platform, how the platform actually works to create these experiences. And to do that, I'm going to hand it over to my buddy Phil, who is going to take you through a product demo.
Great. Hillary, can you see my screen? Is everything coming through okay on the Zoom meeting? Yep, I'll take that as a yes. Great, so just to get things kicked off here, my name is Phil Bradison. I'm a member of the solution engineering team here with Threekit. I work closely with our customers and prospective customers to help them, first and foremost, understand the capabilities of the platform. But I think more importantly, understanding all right. Okay. Great. So it looks like, sorry about that. I just got a message saying that someone couldn't hear me, but I think that was a false alarm. where was I? So yeah, that's right. Again, Phil Bradison here. I'm a member of the solution engineering team. I work with our customers to help them understand with what our platform is capable of. But my favorite part of the job is helping them and getting creative with how visualization can impact the buying journey. Almost every customer that I've worked with to date has leveraged Threekit and product visualization in a different way. And what I hope to do today is, first of all, give everybody a baseline understanding of what Threekit is capable of and sort of how it works. But maybe more importantly, spurring a few ideas. You can get very creative once you have visualization at your fingertips here. So essentially, just to give it a bit of background, as Hillary mentioned in the beginning, Threekit will start with some kind of a virtual representation of the product, or what we call a smart asset. Now, I don't want to go too far in the weeds on how we get this initially. We can work with CAD files. We can work with 3D files that have been created by a freelancer. We have 3D modeling services here. But essentially, once we have that virtual representation of the product, we can begin to generate a variety of different types of experiences from that single asset. So here, what we're looking at is one of those experiences, and that is an interactive 3D personalizer or a configurator. Now, the product itself on Threekit has essentially all of the same product definition that you will have in your e-commerce catalog or your CPQ catalog, whatever the product master is. So we have the product, but then we also have all of the variations of that product. So here we have the Rolex watch, and this comes in a variety of different materials or different metals, for example. So we allow the customer to see not only what the product would look like and interact with it in a way that is, more like an in-store experience, but then also begin to really personalize the product to make it their own, and ultimately to have that more tactile experience. So essentially, this is where we'll begin with any customer. We'll start with some kind of a 3D representation of the product. But what I want to do now is sort of walk us through the sort of the buyer's journey to show how these visuals can begin to impact different areas of the business. So I'll go over to Crate & Barrel. This is one of our customers. Now, what you'll notice here when I go to Crate & Barrel's site is we have a very large quantity of beautiful photographs. So for anybody that's a Crate & Barrel fan, I hate to break it to you, but these aren't actual physical photographs of their furniture. These are virtual photographs that have been taken with the Threekit virtual photographer. So essentially, just like we saw with the Rolex, there's a 3D product. We've defined how that product can change, so the different materials and things like that product is provided in. And then rather than generating that interactive 3D experience, we're creating these virtual photographs in a way that is both scalable and complete. So Crate & Barrel site has millions of photographs here that let customers see all the variations and permutations in a realistic way, but also in a way that is very consistent. And I think this consistency is something that we're hearing across the board from C-level executives and analysts as being one of the key drivers in the new wave of e-commerce that is happening today with brands. So you'll notice as you sort of scroll through these, there's a very consistent look and feel to the content, but again, it's all changing based on the types of products or the materials here that we have. So here what we're looking at is maybe early on in the buyer's journey where they've stumbled on your website and they're now interacting or looking for a product that feels right. But where we go from here may be more of a targeted advertisement. So let's say they visit your site once and you want to then begin a drip marketing campaign. So again, we can create content that plugs into a variety of either social media or other advertising platforms. And so here, this is one illustration where on Facebook, you can create sort of this, creative, interactive 3D experience. This could very easily be a product, a Rolex that we've seen, or a sofa, or even just a static photograph. But when the buyer gets a little bit more serious, we now want to pivot we now want to provide an experience where the customer can truly personalize or configure the product to their liking. So here we have an example of an American football helmet. So again, this is an interactive 3D experience. So we're sort of bridging that gap between the in-store experience where you can rotate the product around, inspect it, get a good sense of what it looks and feels like, with an online experience. And so the consumer can start from one point. They can choose from a variety of different what we call presets, but these are basically your most popular styles or your configurations. Again, we're capturing analytics throughout this entire journey, so you're able to analyze and understand what product combinations go together, what product combinations don't go together. And here we're able to surface those as sort of a starting point. Now, once the user has made this high-level selection, they can then begin to configure literally any aspect of the product that this customer has defined. So we can change the face masks. So we're changing parts here in this case. We can change materials or the colors of those materials. We can change, or excuse me, we can apply different visual effects techniques. If there's something specific that you want to highlight about the product, for example, here with this football helmet, we have this metallic face mask that we want to make sure is conveyed in a realistic fashion. We can apply this type of a technique or a variety of other techniques depending on the use case. But we can also then begin to allow the customer to understand a little bit more about the product in some creative capacity. So the customer can see how the product looks, or the parts that are comprised of the product. So here we can explode the helmet and see all of the innards. We have a lot of customers who will use Threekit to create sort of animated content or educational content to help their customers understand what their product does, as opposed to just what it looks like necessarily. Great. And finally, when things are getting a little bit more serious, the customer may want to view something in their room. Say I am evaluating an espresso machine. Maybe I'll start online. I'll change the color, but then I want to see what this looks like in my kitchen to make sure it'll fit before buying. So here we can take the same virtual product or the smart asset on the Threekit platform, and we can expose it onto any web browser so that it can be viewed in augmented reality. So I can go ahead and, from a simple web page, click on the product, rotate it around again, and then we can go ahead and project that directly in our space. So here what we're doing is, I think, two things simultaneously. Number one, we're giving the consumer confidence in what they're getting, so they can make sure it fits. And then also we're, so that'll increase conversion rates, but I think more importantly, we're allowing the customer to make sure this product will actually work for them. So there's some substantial impacts in return rate reductions that we typically see from augmented reality experiences. Obviously, if you buy an espresso machine and it doesn't fit in your room, you're probably going to return it. So if you can give the consumer the ability to see that before they buy it, you can sort of eliminate some of those headaches or some of those returns. So just to sort of round out the basis here, with Threekit, we work across a variety of industries. We work with some customers that have a very high level of visual, that require a very high level of visual fidelity. So customers in jewelry or apparel, things of that nature. Furniture also probably falls in that category. So here we have an engagement ring. But we also work with customers who have more traditional product configuration requirements. So here in this case, this is a live site you can check out. This is Boston Tech. Now for Boston Tech, the primary use case here isn't necessarily to show something that is absolutely stunningly beautiful necessarily, although it doesn't look that bad. But more importantly, the people that are building these products need to make sure that it's customized to their liking. So the challenge here is this is highly configurable. So there's a variety of components, parts, and pieces that can all go into the product. And allowing the user to build this and make it their own as they're going through the product configuration and see exactly what they're putting together eliminates a lot of the friction in sort of this complex configuration buying motion, if you will. So as I'm adding different parts or pieces or components, I can see exactly what this workbench will look like. And again, therefore, we're giving the buyer confidence as well as creating that personalized experience for them. And so one of the things I like to highlight here is simply the level of configurability and the level of customization that our customers are able to deliver to their clients. So here we have the suit that Hillary was walking through a few minutes ago. And what I can do is customize any aspect of the suit that is available. So I can change different fabrics here in this case. We can change the tie. We can change literally any aspect of this suit, the cut, the style, the number of buttons. Now, if you think about the undertaking that would present itself to generate photographs for all of these permutations, it's simply mind-boggling. But with smart assets and with Threekit, we can allow you to define those products, allow you to define how those products can change, and then we simply generate the content automatically for you. In this case, to be used in a custom men's suit builder. So you can showcase the product in a variety of different ways. We can obviously see it how we saw it a second ago, but we can also begin to see the inside lining of the product as well. So I can go ahead and choose the Chicago Bears or maybe the San Francisco 49ers here, or change really any other aspect of the product. Again, this is all defined from that single asset, and once that's on Threekit, we can allow customers to create content across these mediums. So I'll come up for air for a few minutes, and Hillary, do you have any additional comments, questions, or are there any items here that we can check on?
I don't think so.
Great.
I think that about wraps up all the content. Again, want to thank everyone for joining. We will be sending this out after the fact so that you guys have it. And please feel free to reach out to us with any additional questions. Please visit us at threekit.com, and hopefully we will be engaging with you soon.